Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio.
Oh,
So one of the things we like to do here with this show is we like to go to comic conventions and see our fans and mingle with people. True. And so last was it two Saturdays ago now? We were guest at Space Cadets Con right there in Oak Ridge. One of our sponsors, Space Cadets Gaming host it. And so we get to hang out and meet a bunch of you ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Played a little Mario Kart.
children of all ages.
Children of all ages. We played some Mario Kart with a bunch of people. We got to a couple pretty decent interviews. Corey, I'll let you take this one right here because you talked to one guy who was very, very interesting, and you tried to turn it into an 11-minute interview, and it went about 30 almost. So we're going to put that up via probably SoundCloud or the YouTube soon. But go ahead, take it away. And
Yeah, we had a really fun conversation with James Van Hoss, and he is the writer and creator of Night Owl Society, which is published by IDW Comics. Now, just one of the coolest things about just kind of his whole story, and we'll kind of summarize this story and we'll kind of go into the conversation here. He's just one of these people whose path has been really unique because it's been wildly successful for, not to be rude or anything, but for no apparent reason, just wildly successful. He did a Kickstarter for a comic book. They have a whole section up for comic books and Kickstarters, and there's 20 or 30 of them up there at a time. But he was an unknown, and the artist was an unknown.
Where's the artist from again?
The artist is from Belarus.
That's awesome.
So, kind of two unknowns without a strong marketing background. You're not necessarily expecting anything.
Right. You're just kind of going into it.
You're going to see what happens. You got your fingers crossed. You're throwing a pitch out there. You never know where. It's a Hail Mary.
It happens. It don't.
Right. Well, anyway, wildly successful. Kickstarter makes, which the Kickstarter people will tell you. Stats on making Kickstarters, when you're doing the sign-up stuff, they try and kind of pump it up. But the reality is, not every Kickstarter makes.
Nope.
And unknowns with only semi-strong marketing plans, like that's not. It was a long shot, but it made it. And not only did it make it, he made it quite well, he said. And so he was able to do all of his prizes and stretch prizes and did his giveaways and did his things. He sold speaking roles. Like, he did a lot of cool stuff with this.
Right. And so now the comic has become pretty successful. And what issue is he on now?
So he did a miniseries. Well,
it's
what he did first, it's a 3-issue miniseries. What he did first is he produced the first issue.
Okay.
With the Kickstarter. He then was either going to self-publish, but he happened to be, this is a cool story.
Yeah,
he happened to be at a small con in Dallas. The guy who organized the con was friends of his, but also is friends with the editor-in-chief of IDW. And the editor-in-chief himself
was there for some reason.
Was there because he was friends with the guy who organized it and was doing portfolio reviews. That's a big thing. A lot of times the editor-in-chief might be around, might be at a con just to hang out and kind of supervise his employees. But he was actively interacting with fans and looking over their art portfolios to give them critiques on how to make it into comic books.
Because most of the time, like you'll hear in this interview, and we both know this very well, if you can draw and you're an artist, it's much easier for you just to have some work and give it to it. But if you're an actual writer-creator, you've got to bring an entire finished project. Right,
and that's what... So James is talking to him, and the guy tells him no probably about 7 different ways and 7 times, he says. He keeps walking by, and no one's talking to him. No one's there. And he keeps walking by and he keeps saying, listen, I have it with me. Can I show you my book? And just look at it and just kind of look, there's no one else around. I don't want to bother you, but there's no one else here.
Yeah, just read it in your free time because no one's here.
So finally the guy takes it and he kind of just flips through it. He said he didn't really read it. He just kind of flipped through it. He was, okay. But he goes, you know what? There might be something here. I tell you what. He hands him a card and he says, in 2 weeks, get back to me. So Mr. Van Hals took that as like a nice blow off.
Right.
And he basically was like, okay, well, all right, I appreciate it. But he mentioned it to his buddy who organized the convention, who was friends with the guy. And he goes, no, I've known him many, many years. If he gave you his card,
there's something going on.
You should follow up. So he follows up in 2 weeks. And the guy goes, yeah, no, actually, I'm glad you followed up. I reread your book a couple of times. I like it.
I want to produce it.
He said, it's a yes from me. However, we have a team of editors, 15. And everything we publish at IDW gets full approval from all 15. Has to be unanimous.
That's rough. Because I've seen what IDW puts out.
Right.
How does that happen?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about that too. Because some of
maybe that's the problem.
Transformers and some of their stuff.
I love the Transformers and all that stuff, but I mean,
yeah, 15 people. Yeah,
15
exactly.
people said this was a great idea.
Right.
Idiots.
I was not expecting. So anyway, he goes, look,
savaged.
Right.
Right.
He goes, we got a meeting later this week. I'll take it into the meeting. Call me next week, but seriously, honestly, you got to get 15 yeses. So don't.
Right. I love it, but you need 15 people to say yes.
Don't think it's
Yes.
don't think it's
Yes.
going anywhere.
3.
He
Yes.
says, all right,
4,
cool.
Yes. 5.
So he calls.
Yes. 6. Yes. 7.
He calls a week later and he says, hey, how'd I do in the meeting? I'm just waiting for you to get sweaty from lifting your arms, and then I'm going to embarrass you.
All right, what happened?
So meeting went good. All 15 said yes.
And then we're in business.
So he says, oh, great. And he goes, now listen, that's not the last hurdle. He goes, now the owner looks at it, and he has to like it. And I'm going to tell you right now, he's not a comic book guy.
But he produces all this stuff.
Right. But he has the final say, yes or no, whether or not we print anything. And I have no idea when he's going to look at it. I have no idea what he'll say or when he'll tell me what he'll say. So check back in 3 weeks.
Okay.
3 weeks later on the dot, he calls back. Yeah, owner read it and loved it. He's in. So then the guy had to go back and get 2 more issues finished, get them turned in. All 3 issues are now done and turned in. And then IDW published the miniseries, and now they just published the trade. The trade just came out 2-3 weekends ago.
So now you've heard 50% of the interview.
Yeah. Well, no, the interview actually is a great thing because we talk about the Kickstarter stuff. We talk about just kind of the growth, but then we also talk about just some kind of interesting stuff that happens when you're writing and just how to kind of push through. And he has a really good point when it comes to writers. Everyone has an idea. Everyone can write a script. It's, can you make a comic book?
Right. That's the hard part.
And that is the hard part. And so for him to be where he got to, just kind of all on a lark, it's a really impressive. It is. It's really impressive. And the book's pretty good.
I haven't finished it yet, but I'm reading it right now.
Nico's got the trade right now in front of him, and he's in love with it.
We're gonna pass it around.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
So check that interview out. We'll put it up this week. And if you're really into the comics and the writing aspect and how stuff gets made, this is the interview for you.
Well, if you're a creative person at all,
right?
Because the guy's he's really nice, he's generous, and with the interview is really a good interview. I'm pretty proud of that one.
We also, if you're into wrestling, I sat down with the one Will Holland during Cadets Con. He is an author and a artist himself, so he plugs his stuff. But we kind of just went through our thoughts on this past weekend's SummerSlam event. So you can check that out. I put it up on the Facebook page. It's also on SoundCloud. If you're on SoundCloud, just search Joey.Savage15. We also have wrestling interviews there. So anything wrestling interview related is on our SoundCloud. Check that out. It's also on the website.
Look at that. Look at that. We got formats.
And we've got some really, really exciting news that happened that we put together while we were at Cadets Con. We're not going to say it just yet.
Oh.
We're going to get all of our ducks in a line first.
Oh.
Wait till we're good to go, then we'll debut it. But there's some really, really exciting stuff happening with Nerd Thug Radio on different forms of media coming soon. So be on the lookout on the Facebook because that's where we'll make the announcement.
By the way, it's row. Ducks getting a row.
Same thing. Well, now we want to talk about.
Oh, what do you want to talk about?
Cadets Con. Is we have the Extra Life charity event coming up in November. So we did this last November, the 3 of us along with Angry Zach. And then we had a few other family members kind of hang out with us.
Yeah, kind of tag in and out throughout the day.
We gamed for 25 hours because it was a fallback weekend.
Yep.
Nico finished it out for us. We raised money. We raised over $1,000 for our local Woodlands, Texas Children's Hospital.
Right.
We're going to do it again this year. But this year we're going with a twist. During the event, we're going to be hosting a Mario Kart tournament at Space Cadets Gaming in one of their big rooms with a big projector, and it's going to be fun. We're trying to get a couple of local celebs in.
Yeah.
So if you want to play in this tournament, there will be a trophy awarded to the first place finisher, the first annual, because Zach doesn't like it when I say that, Nerd Thug Mario Kart champion. It will be $20 to enter this tournament. However, all that money does go to the charity.
Correct.
So be on the lookout on Facebook. I am going to drop a sign-up form or just put feelers out there. I think already we have about 8 people who are signed up, ready to go for this tournament. So we wanted to try to at least double it to 16. That would be, my math's not too great, but $320, I think.
I think it's a bajillion.
just for this thing. And then we'll be playing video games all day. We'll announce it as we get closer because, we like to have fun.
Right.
And we invite you guys there. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, it was a fun time at CadetsCon. We had our own little, our own little VIP corner.
Yeah, it was sort of we were like the welcoming area. When you came in, we were the first people you saw.
We were there. We had our shirts on. Kai, our video game blogger and part-time host, I guess I could say.
Hostess.
She was there hanging out. Several people showed up in their Nerd Thug shirts, and we were definitely livening up that pate.
Yeah, the Batmobile was there.
The Batmobile was there. There was some great Asian cuisine, but it was chicken tacos, so I didn't break my streak.
Oh, I feel like that. I don't understand how that doesn't break the streak.
This wasn't Chinese food. It wasn't. It just wasn't.
I don't know.
It was chicken tacos.
It was chicken tacos.
I feel like
fusion, baby, fusion.
I feel like in China they eat chicken tacos, and therefore
fusion. I don't think they eat chicken at all in China. Actually, they probably just eat white rice.
Is that it? Is that all they
That's
eat?
it. Vegetables. I've seen some of those TV shows.
Vegetables.
Yeah, they don't eat a lot of chicken. Maybe I can't say that. I might get in trouble. I might get in trouble. For
something that tastes like chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
So most white meats.
So yeah, man, it was a great time. There was a lot of vendors there. There were several artists.
Sam De La Rosa
was there. We didn't get a chance to talk to him because we were too interested in our boy from the Night Owl Society, and he just dropped such a great interview. It was super dope.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to meet him. Night Owl Society, check it out. IDW Comics.
Right, give that a look.
Now that Joey's bashed them.
Right, yeah. Buy the trade. It's good.
Well, no, the story is really good. Just their process of making
the
stories.
15 editors and then the owner.
And the owner's not a comic book guy, but he owns a comic book company. Get out of here.
Because he publishes for a toy company.
Okay. We'll get out of here. We'll go to a break. When we come back, show's halfway over. We get into the weekly top 3. You're listening to Nerd Thug Radio.
Whoop.